New reaction this morning from Sarah Palin over the so-called Troopergate investigation. A report by the state legislative panel says Alaska Governor Sarah Palin was within her authority to fire the public safety commissioner, but abused her power by letting a family grudge influence that decision. With the report now released, the legislature could censure Palin, although there is no indication any action will be taken. This morning, Palin responded to reporters saying, quote, "If you read the report, you'll see that there was nothing unlawful or unethical about replacing a cabinet member." Let's bring in our political panel now. Joining me from Washington, D.C., Republican strategist Brad Blakeman. Also in D.C., Democratic strategist Josh Gottheimer. Let me start with you, Brad. What do you make of this report?
Well, it's an investigative report. I believe that Josh even will agree on this, that this is not the end of Governor Palin's due process rights. There's going to be a personnel board who's going to rule on this eventually. But this report obviously was done politically before a national campaign. There is no urgency to this. The trooper is still on the job. And right now, the jury is still out on this matter. And it's really a non-issue. Let's move on to the real issues that Americans are concerned about.
Josh, would you agree on that part, that at least it's a non-issue, it's unlikely to affect the campaign?
I don't know if I'd say it's a non-issue, but I would say that this is really up to the American people to decide for themselves. I mean, after the last 8 years of sort of backroom deals in the Bush administration, I think what Senator Biden and Obama are going to stress is just how transparent they want to be and how they're going to help turn this country around and bring the change we need. So I think that the American people want to focus on the economy and how we're going to turn that around, and that's what Barack Obama's been talking about, and he's the one with the plan, and I think that's ultimately what this election is going to be about.
Let's talk, Brad, about the problems facing John McCain. Nationally, he's now down double digits. Battleground states where he had expected to certainly challenge and had been ahead in recent weeks, now he's behind. He's far behind on fundraising, spent far less money this past week. You have Barack Obama, who's going to be spending millions of dollars for 30-minute ads right before the election day. What does John McCain do?
John McCain does what John McCain has done throughout his entire life, and that is fight back. A year ago, John McCain was down and out. All the reporters and political pundits had him dead, and John McCain rose and fought back.
So,
and he's
Brad,
now the
those
Republican
folks who are
nominee.
coming out of the audience yesterday in Minnesota and saying to him, "Get tougher," and this has happened repeatedly.
Yeah, I think he will get tougher, but John McCain fights with one hand tied behind his back because Barack Obama lied to the American people when he said he would take public financing and then did not. That's why we're being outspent. It's because Barack Obama flat out lied to the American people. He challenged John McCain to take public financing, and John McCain did, and Barack Obama did not.
So you really think that's the point that's going to help the Republicans at this stage of the game?
But Chris, you asked me why we're being outspent. That's why we're being outspent. John McCain on the next debate, I think, will come out swinging about the economy, being very positive, but also challenging Barack Obama and listening to our supporters to take the gloves off and put the stark distinctions between his ability to lead this country and Barack's ability to lead this country.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been hearing, Josh, from some Democrats is that they always get worried, they say, when they're in a position like this, because it's happened before, that there have been swings in the polls in the closing weeks, that the campaign doesn't get overconfident. What do you expect to see, particularly Wednesday night at the debate, but maybe going forward these next 24 days?
I mean, I think the polls are the polls, and you're right, you can't put too much faith in them. But that's why I think Senator Obama has made it very clear he's out there every single day fighting for the American people and showing them what are we going to do to change this economic situation, whether that's the tax cut to 95% of working families that he's talking about, or the jobs that he's going to create, or the solutions on the economy that he was out there in front of. It's about steady leadership, and I think what the American people need to see versus erratic behavior, they want to see steady leadership. And I think if Obama keeps doing that...
the average voter out there, and I want to ask both of you very quickly, and I'll start with you, Josh.
Sure.
Do you think the average voter out there is really hearing from either of these candidates what they want to hear to calm their fears about this economic crisis?
Well, if I could start by saying the reason why the polls are starting to shift the way they are, and what you are seeing in the trends, is because I think people are realizing that when it comes to presidential leadership, Obama is the one that's coming up with answers. The problem with McCain is that every couple of days he has a new plan. He's shifting all over the place, and they see that unsteadiness and the erratic behavior over there as something that makes them more nervous. They need someone who's going to be steady at the top. I think Senator Obama has consistently shown that, and that's why they have faith in him. I think ultimately this election is about the economy, and on the economy and jobs and change, this is exactly where Senator Obama will win.
Brad, I was talking to two different pollsters today. They both said this is about the economy. Everything else is so far behind. Is this simply that Americans are not hearing from John McCain what they want to hear about the economy?
Well, look, I don't think they're hearing sufficiently from either candidate. And with all due respect to Josh, Barack Obama has no plan. He sits back and says, if you need me, call me, and stays away from Washington when he's a United States senator who happens to be running for president. I think what has to happen now, Chris, is the 24 undecided that we're seeing with the voters out there need to be further convinced to move them. And I think that's what these two have to do in the closing weeks, John McCain and Barack Obama. But I happen to think that the undecided will come to our side when they hear John McCain and listen not only to what he has to offer, but his experience to lead this country.